Raid Shadow Legends. One of the most popular videos I've ever done on the entire channel was just me complaining about and ripping on this game. I had a variety of different complaints, ranging from their persistent sponsorship attempts to their hilariously controlling script, but the main issue I have with Raid is that it's just basically one big marketing push that relies on false claims and high budgets to brute force their product down the throats of gaming fans all over the world. Raid has a simple and unfortunately very effective model. Pay YouTubers and streamers boatloads of cash to pretend they enjoy the game and get their audience to try it out. This is something they do all across the platform with all different types of creators, and it's gotten to a point where the game is itself a meme because of their persistence and the awful scripts. The obviously false intentions behind the words, as creators say, "You'll find me in-game," and have never even logged in past a couple of minutes to get enough footage to promote it as if it's their own life's blood. Or more recently, as a PR spokesperson for Raid said publicly on Twitter, "We never pay content creators, they promote us because they like the game." That's a whole video in and of itself, the claim by Raid, one of the most prolific and aggressive sponsorship seekers on all of YouTube, that they never pay content creators for sponsorships. That's actually a big deal because FTC laws require disclosure by those same creators, so their cover is blown right off the bat, and their proposals and contracts are floating around everywhere, which then shows, point for point, how they pay large sums of money for creators to say very exact words of promotion. Plarium Games, the producers of Raid, tried to clarify this statement later on by posting a Discord message screenshot, which was one of the least professional things I've seen in a very long time. They claimed that there was simply a moment of confusion, despite that confusion being nearly impossible to comprehend given the clarity of the thread where this all occurred. But regardless, the point is Raid throws cash at creators to get viewers into their game, and it works. Before going further, side note, a quick shout out to commenter Kyle Bustos. He sent me down the path with his feedback and spurred the creation of this video. So last video I just ripped on Raid Shadow Legends without diving deeper into why the game is the way it is. For starters, the game is a gacha mobile title. The whole concept is randomization of rewards to fuel progression. There is no actual progression mechanic that can be reliably completed in a repeatable fashion. Instead, progression is tied to randomized champion unlocks, which are purchased in tiered packs with anything from in-game funds to actual real-world dollars. Another aspect to Raid is the aggressive advertising. There are invasive and obnoxious advertisements between menus that bombard the player constantly, and while the ability to play this game for free does certainly exist, the actual experience is quite clearly designed to elicit extensive and continued purchasing from users by leveraging slot machine-style randomization and Las Vegas-style advertising at every possible corner. Well, that comparison between Raid and Las Vegas is very deliberate here. Down we go into the wormhole of why Raid Shadow Legends is legitimately a games industry arm of the casino gambling industry, and why this game, more than almost any other in existence, exemplifies the now rampant infestation of gambling mechanics in video games. It all starts with Plarium Games, an Israeli game development company. Plarium Games is the creator behind Raid Shadow Legends, and Plarium Games was acquired by Aristocrat Leisure Limited in 2017 for a buyout price of $500 million. Aristocrat Leisure Limited is a casino gambling manufacturer specializing in slot machines that are shipped all over the world. It is, in fact, one of the largest casino game manufacturing companies on the planet, and as of 2017, it was the full owner of Plarium Games and thus Raid Shadow Legends. A few notable quotes from a statement given by CEO of Aristocrat Trevor Crocker when speaking to GamesIndustry.biz read as follows: Aristocrat has continued to deliver significant growth and outstanding results in our digital social casino business. The acquisition of Plarium allows Aristocrat to expand our addressable market into logical adjacent segments in the fast-growing mobile gaming market. That right there is already a definable and direct link to actual gambling methodology, which is now using Raid as a mechanism to expand their addressable market into logical adjacent segments in the fast-growing mobile gaming market. AKA, in layman's terms, get some mobile devs, make some gambling games disguised as actual products, market casino mechanics to a wider unregulated audience, often underage, and rake in all the cash. It's pretty clear-cut, but to go one step further, CEO of Aristocrat Trevor Crocker has now been appointed as chairman of the American Gaming Association, and the American Gaming Association is a gambling advocacy lobbying group which attempts to define further policy for the industry which can spur growth and increase revenue. The CEO of a gambling company that specializes in slot machines, who happens to also now be the chairman of a gambling policy lobbying group, is in control of Plarium Games, who in turn is in control of Raid Shadow Legends. Hopefully the comparison between Las Vegas and Raid Shadow Legends is now beginning to make a lot more sense. From the aggressive, always in-your-face advertising to the integral core mechanics of the game itself, Raid is a mini digital casino, with very few discrepancies. The thing is, the discrepancies that do exist are not a good thing. They are actually avoidances of key mitigatory factors which help curb the negative effects of actual gambling in the real world, and Raid has just managed to circumvent them. The largest and most immediate difference is cashing out. This is a fundamental component of casino gambling, at least the traditional kind, but also an avenue for profit fluctuation. The argument that Raid is not gambling because players cannot cash out their winnings is pretty much the cornerstone of their entire defense. However, if one cannot cash out, does that still eliminate the identity behind actions like spending real money on randomized rewards without knowing what you will receive, therefore gambling on certain outcomes that are better or worse? By removing this exit line of player capital, Raid has actually improved upon the existing casino model. In a Las Vegas slot machine room, you can go in, stake money, get lucky or unlucky, whatever it is, and cash out, then go home. If you get very lucky, you could walk away with millions of dollars. That is one of the most addictive aspects of casino gambling as a whole. But the basic function is that money can go in and money can come out, even at an extremely low chance, which can impact short-term revenue stability under certain circumstances. Now, casinos are obviously a massively profitable industry. I'm not saying that the cash out option fundamentally undermines their ability to retain player capital, but extending the phrase "the house always wins" from a definable percentage chance that it will win, say 54% of the time, as just an example here, to a 100% and indisputable certainty that any and all money you deposit immediately goes to the house exclusively, and you might get nothing back at all, but the house already won with no other outcome before you even took your shot. Which one do you think, honestly, that the casino owners would prefer? Using this new methodology as a jumping off point, the next major discrepancy is RTP. RTP means return to player, and casino slots have very well defined RTP values. In fact, you can look up the RTP for various different casinos online because they are actual legally enforced minimums. But to go even further, the competitive nature of casino gambling has spurred RTP values to fluctuate higher than the minimum value, somewhere around typically 97%. Mobile gaming does not have any form of RTP enforcement or even consideration. Players don't even think about it, publishers are delighted to be able to ignore it, and the ultimate values when compared to casino slots, like the slots produced by the now owner of Raid Shadow Legends, are horrifically low. Where 96 or 97% may be standard in Las Vegas, the return to player for character packs in a mobile game might be less than 2%. It's an imperfect comparison because RTP calculations rely on what percentage of money is coming back to the player, therefore a cash out option, and not what the value of the skin is that they acquired or the value of the character or the relative strength, etc. But this type of RTP gambling comparison can be done almost perfectly for a title like CSGO, which has skin gambling sites that do in fact facilitate cash outs. The bottom line is that by any and all metrics obtainable as of right now on the subject, gaming loot boxes, mobile character packs, or whatever else are in a world of their own entirely. They do not conform to existing player protection guidelines at all, not even close. The last discrepancy between legitimate casino slot machines and mobile gaming, in particular Raid Shadow Legends, is audience access. Vegas casinos are age restricted. Traditional gambling as a whole is highly regulated and unavailable to those under 21 years old. But mobile gaming makes no such distinction. In fact, mobile gaming has about as little age verification or restriction as could possibly be imagined. So the accessible audience for Aristocrat to expand their addressable market is not just larger, it is practically everyone. This behavior is present elsewhere in the games industry as well. I'm not trying to say it's just mobile gaming, but one of the largest mobile games in existence right now, certainly the most prolific on YouTube when it comes to sponsorships and marketing campaigns, can be traced backwards all the way to an actual stone-cold casino company who has now made it clear without any subterfuge at all that their goal is to expand their addressable market by leveraging gambling in mobile games. And that company is also under the direct corporate control of a man who simultaneously runs the largest gambling lobbying group in the world. Comparing Raid Casino Legends to Las Vegas is more accurate than any of us might like to acknowledge. The track record of Raid is at best annoying and at worst downright predatory. Lying about basic sponsorships or being incompetent enough to actually make that kind of error in the context of how it was made means that they are on the fence between dishonest or inept. Not to mention further issues like bought and paid for Google Play Store reviews or lies in their promotional claims and all the things that they're saying in their commercials, etc., etc. There's a very long list there. I often rail against the inclusion of gambling mechanics in AAA games, but rarely is there an example in the industry that is this well defined, or makes it this easy to demonstrate that certain titles and mechanics in the space are just a proxy for actual gambling companies to, again, by Trevor Crocker's own words, expand their addressable market into logical adjacent segments. Bottom line, where once I referred to the game as Raid Shadow Legends, I then switched over to calling it Raid Garbage Legends, and now I land on Raid Casino Legends. The world of casino gambling rakes in over $40 billion annually as of 2018. In 2019, mobile gaming hit almost $70 billion. A merger between these two industries, especially when one of them is free from the legal gauntlet of regulatory scrutiny, as of right now at least, but that's a whole separate topic, seems very obvious. That's it for today, though. If you want to support, there are links down below: merch, Patreon, social media, typical YouTuber stuff, as well as another YouTuber establishing himself in the space. Please support his work. There's a link to his channel down below, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.